before we get into the topic, I wanted to just give you an opportunity to introduce yourself, who you are, what you're about, to the Scubaverse, to the listeners out there. And man, if you don't know Jack, you're in for a big treat for these next 3 episodes. So Jack, the floor is yours. Let people know who you are, what you're up to.
Well, first of all, I am just to clarify some things. I don't think I'm an expert at all. I'm kind of opinionated on some things, but not an expert. I'm always trying to learn new things. And in the whole big scheme of things, I am a relatively new diver. So I just passed my 10-year anniversary as a diver. So it's like, it seems like it went quick and it wasn't that long ago. And the one thing I guess I kind of regret about that is, why didn't I start diving earlier? So this is maybe why I didn't start earlier. First of all, I came from the Midwest. I'm from Minnesota originally. There's no ocean. I did grow up on lakes and did all that stuff, water skiing, fishing, and stuff like that. And as a kid, dreamt of like coming to California. Oh, the ocean, surfing, all that stuff. Meanwhile, I went through and played college sports and that whole thing, and was way into rock climbing. So I found that with a lot of these sports, athletic type things, I could pick up on them from an athletic point of view. But then I kind of, I don't know if you hear
that. Your new cat is gracing us with her presence.
Yes, she's like announcing, I'm here. Anyways, so I grew up, doing sports and a lot of these activities, and then started, like for me, I started rock climbing when I was in 7th grade. So super young age, and you had to learn so many technical things and doing that at a young age to keep myself alive, so to speak. And so through the years, eventually I moved to San Diego. And people go, why'd you move? It's like, well, it's always been a dream, watching those, Elvis Presley movies, beach blanket bingo. And I can surf like that. And I found surfing was a lot harder than I thought. But I did learn how to surf and did all that stuff. And I was surfing pretty much 4 to 5 days a week. And I would have friends that I worked with. They're going, yeah, we're going to go get certified. I'm like, no, I can't afford that right now. I can't afford that right now. So I just put off for years and years and years. And then literally like 10 years ago, one of my friends at volleyball, he was way into diving, more so than I thought. One day he goes, hey, you want to try this Discover Scuba thing? And I'm like, nah. He goes, no, you'll be really good at it. I'm like, going, no, I don't want to do it. And deep down, I'm saying no because I know I will really like it. And I'm like going, no, I don't want to add another thing. I'm playing volleyball. I'm, snowboarding. I'm, surfing. I throw scuba diving in there. I'm like, no, I don't want to do it. Finally, one of the times he asked me to say, okay, I'll go. So we went, and this is when Sports Chalet was still around. And they had this pool and indoor pool, and went and did this Discover Scuba. Went around, and I felt like, I was like already, I was like the gift to scuba diving. I'm like going, I can do this buoyancy thing. And I'm like, why does this guy keep pulling me down? Why does he push me underwater? Let me do this. I'm like, I can do this. Anyways, I was all over the place. I mean, there's a video of it. It's pretty embarrassing. But at the time, I'm thinking like, oh man, this is super easy. I like this. And then, a week or so goes by, and my friend, the same one that got me to go this Discover Scuba thing, calls up and he goes, hey, what are you doing like the weekend of February, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, nothing. Why? We're going to go. I'm like, I'm about ready to say we're going to go snowboarding. What do you want to do? Also, he hangs up on me. I go, dude, what was that? Just hung up on me. Then he calls back like 5 minutes later. He goes, okay, I got you signed up for the open water class. You're going to do it. And I'm like, I don't have any of the gear, right? He goes, no, it's okay. I got it. My garage, I have a bunch of extra stuff. I'm like, what do you mean you have a bunch of extra stuff? I mean, I've been to his house and I just never like looked in his garage. And he goes, yeah, you don't even have to worry about a wetsuit. I'm like, dude, you're like way shorter than me. How am I going to fit in your wetsuit? Ends up being he so generous. He has basically a wetsuit for every one of his friends, from
Wow.
little tiny kids all the way up to these my size, the short, stocky guys. So he had wetsuits and gear for every size person. So I went into this class having all this gear right away at my fingertips. And of course, I got addicted, and then went on a trip right away, and diving a long hose, thinking, yeah, I'm an expert at this stuff. So I mean, it made me look like I knew what I was doing early on. So people are like going, "Hey, are you a dive master?" I'm like, this is dive 5 for me.
Right.
Because I'm like, oh, because I looked the part, because I had all my own gear and everything, well, not my own gear, but I had all the stuff. So, but then I pretty much just switched from surfing to scuba diving. So now instead of like looking at the surf report going, where are the waves going to get bigger? I'm like, when are the waves going to get smaller?
Wow, that's a good one. That's a good one.
So now I look at the surf report for the smaller waves, went out and just dove and dove and dove. So I replaced the 4 days of surfing to scuba diving. And so I just got way into it. I think my first year, I did just under 200 dives in the first year. So I picked it up real quick, started diving a dry suit before 50 dives. That was more of a luxury not because I was getting cold. I couldn't fit into the wetsuits. I mean, I hated that part. It's like, why don't they make these things my size? Yeah. So eventually and that's how I got into it. And through that's where you join the dive clubs, and you're just always at the ocean diving, and people just go, oh, there's Jack. Which, by the way, this is kind of like an ongoing running joke right now amongst my dive friends. Randomly going places and then having recognize me, which I didn't think was possible. And they all sit there, and I see them like, as talking to this person, like I'll be at like Catalina, I'll go, hey, aren't you Jack Durr? And I'm like, yeah. And I see in the background, my friends, I see this, they're rolling their eyes. And then just to top it off, 2 weeks ago, I was in Florida, randomly at a dive shop, signing up for the boat. All of a sudden, hey, aren't you Jack Durr? And all of a sudden I turn around, and I see my dive buddy like go, oh, you're kidding. Messaging right away, all my friends, you wouldn't believe what's going on. Someone recognized him here. And I'm like going, I think it's the